Do you ever tell yourself stories in your head over and over again that kind of play on a never-ending loop? It's almost like you hit the repeat button on your online music app. And these stories just go again and again in your head, and there's stories that are just reinforcing about something about yourself, but you know that they probably don't serve you. Like, you actually know that these stories are harmful or limiting, or they get in your way. Let me share this with you, is that this is very common. Everybody does this. Everybody has these. I work with coaching clients all the time who will tell me, "Oh, you wouldn't believe what, I don't feel confident, or I don't know that I can do this, or I can't sing, or I can't, I'm not good in crowds, or I'm not good speaking in front of people, or I could never say that, or I could never do that." We all have these things that are kind of self-protective stories. They keep us safe, right? They're limiting beliefs, but they also keep us safe, and they serve a very specific purpose, and that is to kind of keep us in a place where we're not going to take risks or take chances. But here's the thing. They don't really serve you. They're not life affirming. They're not going to help you go where you want to go in life. Typically, they'll help you keep your life very small. And not that there's anything wrong with a small life. I mean, you may be very content living in the comfortable space that you do. But I do find many people actually long for something different. As human beings, I think that's part of the human condition. We want to be growing and learning and evolving and changing. So one of the practices I work with clients on is, what are some life-affirming beliefs you could work on instead of those limiting beliefs? And what if you didn't let yourself get caught up in that pattern? What if you took it off repeat? And a couple tips or tricks that you can use to do this is, I've heard a couple different things. One, you can actually say, cancel, cancel. Like, when you catch yourself thinking one of these things or saying one of these things, you can say, cancel, cancel. You can also say, stop. Literally say the word stop out loud. I sometimes will do this if I wake up in the middle of the night and, say I have to go to the bathroom or something, and I'm starting to cycle already about just work or things that I don't want to be thinking about at 2 a.m. And I'll literally say to myself out loud, stop. And it's amazing. It actually does work. It's like a signal to your brain. But the other thing you can do is actually say to yourself, there's thinking going on here. That it's just a way to acknowledge, oh, there's some thinking happening. There's some processing. There's some getting stuck in my head happening here. And you can recognize that voice isn't you. You are the one observing the voice. The voice is part of you, sure, but there's also part of you noticing the voice, that knows that voice very well, and that can turn the radio dial to something else. So just some things to think about if you get stuck in your own limiting beliefs at times, or if you tell yourself stories that don't serve you. You are in control. You can choose to work on those things, turn down the volume a bit, or shift to another story that also is partly true, but that also just will serve you better or serve the world better. So I hope that you can work with that. Start practicing, start noticing what are some of my limiting beliefs, and you may surprise yourself actually how you can manage them more effectively than you may think you can.